Oh, hey. Hi. This is Ravensmaw. I'm working on a game, and I'm using Quoth to do it. In Quoth, you can set up a brand new world game, like in about 3 minutes. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it's a great way to get started if you've never been a game master before, or if you're starting a new, I don't know, adventure campaign, or maybe you just want to run one shot, just a single night adventure, which we all, and we all know sometimes those turn into 2 or 3. But still, this is the easiest way to go, and that's scene by scene. And I wanted to show you how you can get started doing that in Quoth in, well, about 3 minutes. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, I've got what happens whenever you first log into Quoth, right? If you've never logged into Quoth before, this is what you're going to see. It's going to say begin your Quoth, right? 3 pieces, plain terms, world, campaign, adventure. Fill these out once, and Quoth has everything it needs to play your first session. That's the idea. 3 minutes to planning your game. So I'm going to do maybe later here for a second, because you can also get to this right here. Begin quick game setup works just as well. All right, so we'll go begin. And we get this page. This is awesome. All right, so I can create a new world here. We will call it a new Quoth the world. Done. All right, it's a world. New world. I'll fill all this in later. Good enough. And let's do something, I don't know, fantasy, post-apocalyptic. Fantasy. And, because I'm old-fashioned, it'll be D&D. All right. Then we'll call it a Raven. No, let's call it Nevermore is the name of the campaign. That's good. It works. A tapping at my chamber. Why? It doesn't really matter what you put here, because you could always go back and change it. That's the idea. I just want to get started. Now, right now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and input my players' emails. It will send them an invite. They get it in their email, and they can join your campaign. But if you're not ready to do that now, that's just fine. You can leave that off. You can even put in like a kind of a fake character, like, I don't know, Williams PC or whatever you want, or, Anushay's cleric, whatever you want to put in there, you can do it. You can put it right there in the character name, and it'll create a character, which you could fill in later. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to call this Raven One Shot. Right? And let's see if this even works, because it doesn't matter what you put in here. You can always, again, go back and change it. And I'm done. I don't even think that took 3 minutes, and it's creating it. So in the background, what's happening here is it's created kind of a world. It's created a campaign. You can see it over here. I've got the campaign here, Nevermore, right? And then I've got my Raven One Shot there. I can always put a cool image and stuff like that. And there's my adventure. And the way you start planning an adventure in Quoth is you start creating scenes. You could create a session. Like if you know it's going to be Sunday afternoon, you can go ahead and put that in. That's fine. But the main thing is create your scenes. Like, where do you want to start? Let's just say we'll call it scene 1. Just call it 1. Oops, that's an exclamation point. 1. And this is the Dusky Manor Tavern. All right. And then I can describe what happens in this scene. You got to read the players section. You got some GM notes we can stick in there. I can do some encounters, right? So we can do a exploration, social, puzzle, other. I can start to think through what's this going to look like in my first scene. And then that's pretty much all I need. We'll say the party meets for the first time. The cool thing is I can get as crafty as I wanted here, and I can come back later and add it, and then I click save. Now I've got a scene. Maybe that's the only thing the players do, because you know what happens, right? You plan your world as though your PCs do not exist. Like, what would be happening in the world had the PCs decided to stay at home and raise carrots for a living? And that's how you should plan a campaign. That's just my opinion. You can go with whatever you want, but that's an idea. Plan your campaign as though you're Here, the PCs never existed. And then what happens on game night is they happen, as does that all-powerful influence of the non-sentient character that controls a lot of game outcomes, the dice. They control a ton of power. All right, well, I've talked enough. I've already created my world, my campaign, my adventure. Now I should go ahead and plan my session here. And I can do that here by saying, a deadly bird attack. And then I can plan the date, right? 17th, the 9th, whatever you want. And then this is in the plan section, right? If you move it to complete, something cool happens. I'll talk about that in another one. And then a little short description here. And this is what your players will actually see whenever they pull up the game session. So you might say, hey, this is session 0. Bring your ideas for your character. Right? Put that in there. Session objective. This is optional. You have to put this stuff in there. And then it says, after you create this session, a blank session plan will be created. So that's kind of cool. So we'll create this session. And now you'll see it right here, a deadly bird attack. And here's the cool part. I can open up my scene again, and now I can assign it to my session. The nice thing about the way Quoth works is you can create as many scenes as you want. So say you want to plan out a 20-room dungeon, you can do that. And then you throw it into the session as you need it, right? Because you never know what your players are going to run into. And then whenever I click on that session right there, now you'll see I have scenes. And if I add scenes in here, I'm set to go. I can even go up here to the plan button. You see that plan button right there? And I can add a scene and create a scene in here. So I can create a new scene inside the session. Oh man, there's so much to learn. But either way, I've just showed you how to get started planning your first game in less than 3 months. Thanks for watching.